the Nerdy Girl channel. Okay, so I'm doing a recap on season 15, so unlike all the recaps, I'm not going to be telling you guys what are the episodes to watch, because even I don't know at this point what are the key episodes to watch, so watch all 13 episodes or watch this recap. Alright, so let's start off. So, and also I'm going to go back to my original model of recapping each and every single one of the episodes to the best of my ability. Alright, let's get to it. So, episode 1, Jack is officially now dead, but all these ghosts are now, like, escaping hell. A demon named Belphegor ends up taking Jack's body. We'll kind of get to that. And so Sam and Dean, like, trying to get rid of all these ghosts, they kind of, like, end up going into, like, one of those, like, mausoleums and like locking themselves in there. So then Belphegor ends up helping them get out. So he's like, I want to go back. And they ask him, like, why are you helping us? He's like, I want to go back to how things were. I was just another cog in the wheel. I was just another employee. I liked hell. I don't like us being free right now. So they're like, we're just gonna have to trust you, because at this point, what else are we gonna do? So then he ends up helping them. Then we get episode 2. They're still trying to get all the ghosts back into hell. They haven't figured that out yet. We see Kevin Tran's ghost again. So it turns out that God didn't actually send Kevin to heaven. He ends up casting Kevin down to hell. He ended up getting a reputation in hell because of it. I found that funny. But then Kevin's like, well, I can't go to heaven. Like, you won't. There aren't a lot of exceptions, and now that, like, Sam and Dean aren't on God's good list, so of course he's not gonna make exceptions for Kevin at this point. So he's like, I'd rather just stay on Earth. And so they're like, you could go crazy, and he's like, well, at this point, he's either being tormented for the rest of my life or going crazy. I decided to go with crazy. Can't blame him for that. So then we also get, at this point, we also see an image with Amara and God. So it seems that Amara and God have kind of, like, separated, because I guess God has annoyed Amara too much. She's like, we need space. And so then just when Amara also notices that God is weak, and she's like, God's like, we need you to help me. And Amara's like, no, I'm not going to help you, especially because you locked me up in the Mark of Cain, and now you're trapped in this world, because God can jump from universe to universe as long as he's not weak. But now that he's shot, he can't travel from universe to universe. Sam also feels a shot, so that's also important. Then we get episode 3. They need to, of course, shut these gates to hell. They haven't figured out how to do it. They just managed to contain all the ghosts in one area. Of course, they let Kevin out in the last episode. So then Belphegor tells them about Lilith's Crook. She's like, he's this Crook that, Lilith claimed that when she was ruling down there, that she could call all demons back. And so they, of course, she never actually used it, but it's down in hell. They have to go get it. And Rowena can create a spell to actually close the hole that God created. So because if it was a door, it'd be a different sort, but since he kind of created this wound, she can close that. Anyways, when Cass goes down with Belphegor down there, he ends up realizing that Belphegor was actually going to use a crook to absorb all these demons and become like this new type of like finagle god, because of course we learn in season 6 that souls are power. So then Cass ends up killing Belphegor as well as destroying Jack's vessel. It was really hard for him, of course. He tried to tell Dean this, but Dean, because he's heartbroken over his mom and everything, he doesn't really listen to Cass, so they kind of have like a little bit of falling out there. So when Rowena kind of realizes that there's just no other option, she ends up sacrificing herself. She makes Sam kill her, fulfilling the prophecy that Death gave them a while ago. And so it was a really good death, an honorable death, one they should have given to Crowley instead, but whatever. Also, Ketch dies here. Remember Ketch? He appeared. He appeared on and off. I don't know why they kept him. He finally dies. I'm like, finally. Then we get episode 4. Sam has a dream that he ends up killing Dean. Anyway, Sam and Dean just kind of remember that. Kind of will pop up into later on. So Sam and Dean go on a hunting trip. Sam still apparently thinks of Jess. I don't know if that'll ever come into play, but that's just a detail that I kind of caught on. So in this episode, the important thing is not the hunt, is actually Chuck going to go see Becky. He ends up like talking to his #1 fan. He ends up confessing to Becky, I am God. And so he ends up writing this horrible ending for the boys. And she's like, that's the worst thing you've ever done. And then he's like, yeah. And then he ends up destroying her now family, because now she's married, has a husband, has like an Etsy shop full of supernatural things, which I don't know about you guys, but I totally want to shop there. Anyways, so he ends up like destroying Becky too. I don't know if he ends up, is that kill? I don't know what God does essentially when he like snaps his fingers and they just disintegrate, but that's pretty much it. So now we know that he has horrible plans for the Winchesters. So then we get episode 5. Episode 5, Lilith's back, and she has to go destroy the equalizer gun, which she does manage. And so that's when the boys realize that the equalizer gun was so powerful. So he obviously did something to God, and he was scared of the gun. So, so that was just a hint. And then we get episode 6. So, Eileen, she was like this character that we meet. She had died. Now she comes back as a ghost. Sam finds a way to like bring her back to life. And also at this point, Dean is just losing hope of everything. He still keeps having these dreams of seeing like Dean killing him, or he killing Dean, just some of that stuff. So we haven't seen Cass in a while, but we do see him back. He's kind of working his own case at this point, and then that's pretty much it. Episode 7. Sam and Eileen like each other, and just, I'm sorry, I'm just like, did you guys really need to put this love story in the middle of season 15? Like, I could care less. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why they spent time on building this. And also, I don't think Sam deserves that happy ending. I think the one who deserves that happy ending is Dean. I'm not gonna lie, but that's just me. We get that Cass comes back to probe Sam's wound. So he's just checking on Sam's wound, because he's like, it's connected to God somehow. That's what he pretty much is. So eventually when he's probing it, he ends up kind of almost killing Sam. So he ends up calling Sergey the shaman. Remember, he did that in season 14. He kind of like blackmails the shaman. Cass is taking no more crap from anybody. He's like, you know what? I don't care. No more playing by the rules. And of course, that's why they learned that Sam's soul is actually somehow in God right now. So that's important. So it gives them like a brand new hope. That's pretty much it. And then we get episode 8. Dean thinks that if they could lock up Amara, they could also lock up God. So they were like, we can try and do that. So then they come and ask Donatello to look at the demon tablet. They still have the demon tablet, not the angel tablet, to see if there's a spell to try and trap God. In the same way that they trapped Amara. Looking at it, Donatello sees that, there is some writing in there that from Metatron, that apparently there's like something about God's favorite. When God, because he's connected to the prophet, he's like, yeah, if you guys do this, I'm going to kill everybody you know and just make them but then they kind of like argue, which I kind of like about this, like, yeah, he's kind of already on a rampage. He's already trying to destroy everything. So we're just gonna have to like risk everybody's life, which finally, guys, they're finally playing the game right, I feel. Eventually they end up discovering that God's favorite, when Metatron wrote these demon and the angel tablet, was Michael, because he had just cast Lucifer into hell. So they're like, we need to talk to Michael. And so that means they're finally going to talk to their brother Adam. So Adam, when God opened like that wound, Adam managed to escape his cage in hell. So / Michael. So eventually the brothers end up finding Adam. They apologize to him, like, yeah, we're sorry we never rescued you. We just never tried, because I'm sorry, that was kind of weak, you guys. Like, really weak. But they end up telling Michael, they're like, yo, this is what your father's doing. So he's very different from the alt universe Michael. He's just like, he had hope in his father, so now he like loses all hope, and they tell him like what's been going on. And so now he gives them the spell to trap God, like the way that they trapped Amara. Because of course he was there when that happened. They have to go to purgatory to get this flower. At the end of the episode, God ends up getting his hands on Eileen and Sam. He's trying to fix that kind of like wound that Sam has, and like trying to detach from Sam. And Cass and Dean go to purgatory. So that's pretty much what happens in episode 8. Episode 9, Cass and Dean are in purgatory. They end up making up there. We find out that Benny is dead, which is just sad. So we don't see we don't see Benny and Dean like reconnecting, which I think would have been great to see. I think he deserved a better story. Poor Benny, because it's all Sam's fault. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, so God ends up finding out that the reason why Sam and him are still connected is because Sam still has hope. Because like God also probes Sam's wound. He's like, what is it? And so he's like, he has hope. So he ends up showing Sam the future. He's like, well, this is what happens when if you were to trap me in this march. So he shows him like an all universe where eventually like him and Dean end up becoming vampires. So of course this causes Sam to lose hope. Dean and Cass come to rescue Sam. They've already built the spell to contain God, but then because Sam loses all hope, it doesn't work. The wound ends up healing itself, and God is now and now God is at full power, so the spell doesn't work anymore. And then they told him, don't worry, we already see that you're trying to kill us, so we already know your plan. He's like, and we already saw like the plans that you have for us. And then God's like, those weren't plans, those are memories from other universes of how you guys ended. I still haven't written yours. So that's what Sam was seeing when he kept dreaming about all those things. So Eileen ends up leaving Sam at this point. She's like, well, because during that time that like they were trapped with God, God's like, yeah, I kind of planned for you guys to fall in love. I thought it'd be better to destroy you with or whatever. And so Eileen's like, I don't know what's real or not. So she ends up leaving, which I'm like, good. You just were an annoying plot point at this point. So, and then at the end, we finally get Billy telling Jack that it's time. So Jack is in the nothing. He's with Billy. Then we get episode 10. So we see Sam and Dean dealing with like normal people problems, and so which is like the first time that they're actually kind of dealing with this. They realize that obviously because they were the heroes of God's story, he kind of made exceptions for them, like having credit cards, like being able to steal credit cards, being able to never get sick, cavities, all that. So Garth tells them that that's probably what's happened and that they can kind of get their luck back, essentially, or get some good luck going to this place in Alaska. We also see Garth living like this perfect home ec life. It's really cute. I hope that that's where they leave Garth. Like, I'm just like, just let him. I know that the world's ending, but just let Garth have a happy life. I mean, I know I just really like Garth, so please let him have a happy life. So that's pretty much it. So they decide to go to Alaska to get their luck back because they're going to need it, because they end up fighting a monster there with Garth. They're like, yeah, without luck, we're kind of like almost useless. So they end up going to see Fortuna. She is the goddess of luck. She was kind of created by humans themselves. Humans created these gods. At first, God was pissed when humans created other gods beside himself, but then he was like, wait, you can blame them for miscarriages, failed crops, all this good. So yeah, so he ended up like doing that. So then Fortuna met her heroes like Hercules and Achilles and all this stuff. So at this point, when she sees Sam and Dean and everything that they're trying to rescue the people that she's kind of trapped, she believes in heroes again, so she gives them back their luck. So now they are lucky again. That's pretty much it. And so then we also see Cass has found Jack. He sees that Jack is eating Grigori. Grigori are elite class of angels, and he's eating their hearts. So then we get a little reunion between Cass, Jack, Sam, Dean, and everything. And then they also find out that this is all part of Billy's plan to kill God. That's pretty much what she needs. She's trying to get Jack stronger to kill God. And then we get episode 12. So then episode 12, Sam and Dean discover that Kai is still alive in the bad place. And then this is also where Sam and Dean discover that God is destroying other universes at this point. And so Dark Kaya is like, I need to go back and save this Kaya. So they go back, save this Kaya, use some of Jack's power, going against Billy's wishes, because Billy is like, she kind of has a specific plan laid out for Jack. And she's like, you guys need to follow this, because this is how we're going to kill God. But they end up kind of like going around her and doing it anyways. Dark Kaya ends up staying in the bad place, pretty much signing her own death warrant. But now we have the Earth Kaya back on Earth. And so then we get episode 13, the final episode of the series. So pretty much Billy has a new job for Jack. He needs to go find the occultum. So Dean and Sam and Dean are like pondering. They're like, well, if we're gonna kill God, shouldn't we also kill the Mara, because there has to look a balance in the universe? So like, that's just something to think about. So they're trying to find the occultum. They find out through this other angel that Ruby had the occultum. So because she's dead, Cass goes into the empty. She's like, I need to talk to Ruby. So he talks to Ruby, and then we also see Meg, nothing, dressed up as Meg, and I love Meg Steele. And so he talks to Ruby. We get Jared's wife back as Ruby, which I find hilarious. She makes a deal with him. She's like, you're gonna try and get me out of the empty. Just try, and I'll tell you where it is. She tells Cass where it is. And then, of course, the brothers with Jack go. Jack, like with the prophecy that it says, he ends up eating the occultum. They're like, why would you do that? But then Jack ends up like disappearing. He goes into the Garden of Eden. He sees a snake in the Garden of Eden. We see a child in the Garden of Eden. and apparently no one has been there since God had, like casted away the Adam and Eve. And so we see the snake, and he's like, "Who are you?" And eventually, at the end of the episode, we get the fact that Jack has his soul back, and he asks forgiveness from the boys. Yes. Oh, also we get alternate universe Sam and Dean. They appear here. So because like other universes are clashing, we get like this hipster Sam and Dean, and like they make this alternate universe Sam and Dean stay in the bunker, so that way in case God comes and checks on them, because they're like, well, you can't let God know what we're doing, so we need to have like a cover story. And so Sam has a man, but I just think it's beautiful and gorgeous how they did this. I really like this episode. It definitely isn't one of my favorite episodes. I think this season 15, episode 13 is a really great episode. The only thing that they're missing now is Crowley. I swear, if Crowley does not come back for this, like, during this whole series finale, I'm gonna be pissed. Because they brought back Meg. Rowena comes back at some point. She's now the Queen of Hell. I forgot to mention that. Just remember that as well. Probably been. I'm like, you got Meg back, you got Ruby back, you're bringing back all these characters. You brought Bloody Mary. If you guys don't bring Crowley back, I'm gonna throw something. So that's it. That's pretty much the season 15 recap. Thank you for watching Resident Nerdy Girl channel. I'll definitely be doing other videos. So leave a like or comments for me to do other videos. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet. All right. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your supernatural fandom.